Does this count as a commentary? I'm counting it as one. Welcome to a commentary. For some reason, I'm Lily B and I'm a catty writer. If you happen to see the thumbnail to this video, notice it says DeviantArt. Yes, I'm doing a commentary on a DeviantArt person. Fight me.
Yeah, I will, because that's really weak material. Now, I'm not saying doing a video on something like a DeviantArt post is exactly the worst thing in the world, but here's the thing. From what I've thought, one of the reasons that a lot of people tend to pick out YouTube videos is that it's easier to get responses. It's easier to see how the person who's making the video responds to your criticism. But you two are on like a completely different spectrum. He's on DeviantArt, you're on YouTube. It's probably going to be very unlikely that you can hear his criticism and he can hear your criticism. Point is, when you're trying to give criticism, which is the point of a commentary, it's going to be hard when that criticism can barely be heard.
Hey, yo, cut the music, cut the music. Somebody left an ice cube on the ground and melted and now my sock is wet. Who the fuck wanna die?
So you may be browsing the literature submissions or Wattpad or any other website for posting original literature, or maybe you looked up your favorite fictional character to see some sweet ass fan art of them, but instead you get something like, well, this, Bad to the Bone, Undertale Sans X-Reader fanfiction.
Okay, maybe this is just a nitpick, but why would you be looking for fan art on a literature website?
He's talking about how DeviantArt can host fanfiction as well as art. Calm down.
Hey, yo, cut the music, cut the music. Somebody left an ice cube on the ground and melted and now my sock is wet. Who the fuck wanna die?
Why? Why does this exist? Why do people do this though? Hell, the fanfiction could be well written, but generally speaking, they're often written by young teens with little experience on developing original literature.
And this is why you never speak in generalities, because older teens and adults writing fanfictions can't possibly exist, right?
Hey, you see this definition for often? Yeah, you see how it never ever says this is always how it is? He's not even denying that older teens and adults could do it, he's saying that it's often that young kids do it. Often! You gotta emphasize the T.
It's like how bases don't teach you how to draw. You can't expect to learn by using someone else's characters and world as a template for your own writing, adding little to the story. The most a fanfiction writer may add is some terrible written smutty fantasy that will make most readers cringe, feeling quite sorry for the character they're ruining. Example, then the sands leaned over you and touched you. Oh, you gasped, XD1. This obviously is an exaggeration, but there are often lots of issues with grammar. This isn't something original fiction will fix, but it's still very common in fanfiction.
First off, never use exaggerations like that. You're building your entire argument on something that doesn't exist.
Hey guys, did you hear? Never use jokes to try and convey your point, ever, or else it's automatically debunked. Jesus Christ, I didn't know I was reviewing Mr. Ender's review of Drawn Together the movie. If I had known, I would have packed more Fireball.
Also, while I'm not going to deny the existence of smutfics, there are also fanfictions that continue where a story leaves off if there's a cliffhanger in the series, develops relationships between characters that the original writer only glosses over, and even going as far as to explain the characters' motivations that were previously never explained at all. And you say that doesn't add much?
He isn't denying that there are good fanfics out there. He never says that throughout any of the journal. His point is that it's very often that there are bad fanfiction out there. Not always, but often.
Badly written or poorly designed OCs. These OCs, if they aren't a direct insert of the reader, are written in second person, a very weird and uncommonly used perspective, and it's usually hard to write for beginners, adding to the general poorness of the fanfiction. They are obviously self-inserts of the writer, or a Mary Sue, though they're usually both at the same time. These OCs usually end up like this. I using Undertale for my examples, not because I'm a fan, but because it's easy to make fun of its fanbase. Princess Neko Heart Blood Chan, 17 years old, Princess of the Underworld, strengths, really super powerful, weaknesses, too pretty, and a small minor amount of shyness that has literally no effect on the story whatsoever and may not have needed to be there. Date, Sans, but everyone has a crush on her. Race, skeleton Neko girl. Like, please, for the sake of people around you, stop making OCs like this, please!
Your opinion on second person perspective isn't needed here, because that's entirely subjective. And again, what if it's a troll fic? You don't really cite any examples of what you consider bad fanfictions.
Hey, yo, cut the music, cut the music. Somebody left an ice cube on the ground and melted and now my sock is wet. Who the fuck wanna die?
But if it's a beginner, give them advice instead of telling them to stop. Telling them to stop doesn't help them at all.
Saving it for later. Yes, I'm saving it for later. I wanna die.
You never specified that.
I don't want people to stop rating them. I don't want people but it's one of those things that beginners should stay away from, like bases or anime style.
So, you expect beginners to go right to telling your definition of a good original story. You do know that inexperienced writers will create mediocre stories and characters regardless of whether they're making original stories or fanfics, right?
Okay, final thoughts. What the hell is this video? Like, I legitimately want an answer. How do you make this? Like, this is one of the most mediocre commentaries made this year, and it's barely even started yet. Like, you saw this video and you said, yeah, this is proper. This is proper. This is gonna be good for uploading. I say that mainly because you seem to be obsessed with keeping a schedule, and I mean really obsessed. As in, you upload content to an unhealthy extent. My advice, actually look over your videos. Get a person to check the scripts. If you keep uploading like this, it's gonna be very easy for you to mess up more often. Oh, and another thing. Stop being a furry, you piece of shit!
Especially you Dicksponge.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
How stupid do I look? Don't answer that.
I fucking suck.
Yes, bitch! Yes! Whoa!
I feel violated.
Floopy goober motherfucker.
You know, when you think about it, Princess Diana was exactly like Pink Floyd. The Wall was the last hit they had.
Robert Longhorn.
Listen to yourselves. You're all jerks saying I'm... okay, first of all...